Everybody loves the Bronco. This is the Bronco Raptor. I don't think I need to say any more. And watch this on your television, okay? These look great on a 4K set. The Ford Bronco is an impressive machine. It gets you to the wilderness in a relaxed manner, and once there, it tackles nearly anything an owner will throw at it. But maybe you want more. The Bronco Raptor is that in spades. Perfect for Ultra 4 racing style skirmishes. It starts with built Ford Tough and turns that up to 11. Pricing begins at around $70,000 with shipping, $74,400 as tested. Don't think you can waltz down to your local Ford showroom and snap one up. Standard Broncos are hard enough to find. Raptor is as rare as an eagle in downtown Chicago. Nearly 10 inches wider and 620 pounds heavier. No, I'm not describing myself after living under pandemic conditions for over 2 years. That's the extra heft of a Bronco Raptor over a Badlands model with the V6. And compared to a base Bronco, this one has almost 5 inches of additional ground clearance. Now, I'm talking about 4-door models because the Bronco Raptor, not available as a 2-door. There's a list as long as the Baja Peninsula when it comes to upgrades. I'll cherry pick. Peek past the standard 37-inch BF Goodrich rubber and you'll find new shock towers and sophisticated Fox dampers with live valve tech. New front and rear control arms deliver 13 inches of travel up front, 14 in back. On average, that's 50% more than a base Bronco. 17-inch beadlock capable wheels are optional. The performance axles are also used on the Bronco DR race truck, increasing the track width by 8.5 inches. The bash and skid plates have the heft of the cast iron skillet in your kitchen. The B-pillar crossbar is reinforced and there's a brace in back. Ford claims the body in prime torsional rigidity is up by 50% over the already beefy standard Bronco 4-door. The roof and door panels are removable. It's fairly easy to do. I'm not going to be doing that today because it's closing in on 90 degrees and I prefer to motor about in air-conditioned comfort. There's a handle for stability when taking them on and off, and unlike Wrangler, the mirrors remain on the vehicle. There's a protective bag for the roof panels. The QR code offers instructions on how to remove and store them. Typically, all 4 doors will stash here, but that brace keeps that from happening on Raptor. The running boards that unbolt from the rock rails are practically a must for entry. Hoist yourself up and in to be reminded that you're in something special. Nice welcome graphics. I needed a step stool to hike the camera high enough to shoot Bronco Raptor's 3-liter twin-turbo V6 that makes 418 horsepower and 440 pound-feet of torque. It's certainly well vented. These are not cosmetic. Raptor gets a true dual exhaust system with active valve technology, so if that exhaust note doesn't satisfy, there are others, though I didn't notice a huge difference between calm and landlord eviction mode. Ford says the 10-speed select shift transmission is tuned to meet Ford performance needs. Not sure if that means strengthened. There's the usual rear drive, high and low 4-wheel drive, plus a set and forget auto mode and a locking rear differential. This being a Bronco, there are GOAT modes, 7 of them, including Baja mode that activates a turbo anti-lag calibration, plus a new tow haul mode. Raptor can tug 4,500 pounds, 1,000 more than the standard Bronco. There are the requisite cameras to act as a spotter if you're adventuring solo, trail control, trail turn assist, and trail 1-pedal driving too. Oh, and there are graphics to help you understand what you're getting into. I like the little Easter egg here, and what's going on with the driveline. From the steering to the dampers, it's all adjustable, and there's a specific customized setting that can be called up instantly. Those are the highlights and a few reasons why the Raptor is a much more expensive Bronco. Time to drive. Bronco Raptor will do the 0 to 60 dash in just under 6 seconds, which is pretty quick. If you want bragging rights, well, then go with Wrangler 392, which will take about 2 seconds off that. But really, do you need that kind of speed with a machine like this? I feel like the Raptor is the more balanced of the two. The Jeep, almost overpowered. And I know a lot of people don't think that's possible, but really, with a vehicle that high, boy, get it into a corner and you can get into a lot of trouble super fast. Some will feel Raptor doesn't have enough power. For racing, yeah, that might be true. The wider stance really helps during cornering. It feels relatively stable considering its minimum ground clearance is 13.1 inches. That's the good news. Let's get the bad news out of the way. Fuel economy. The EPA rates the average at 15 mpg. Highway isn't much better at 16. I am seeing an average of 13. So if you're buying one of these, make sure to budget for fuel. On the positive, standard grade is specified. Always looking for the bright side. Driving to the trailhead on the highway, I feel like Bronco is much more refined than Wrangler, and the Raptor actually keeps a lot of that refinement. But make no mistake, this is not a car, this is a truck. Rides like a truck, a refined truck, but a truck. If memory serves me, it's not to the level of Land Rover Defender, but it doesn't require micro corrections like a Toyota 4Runner or Wrangler. Due to the ride height, drivers have a commanding view of the road. Consider supplemental oxygen. The windows are narrow though, and the spare makes visibility out the back. Who am I kidding? There's little to none. One thing to keep in mind, inside, this is the width of a regular Bronco, but on the outside, it's a lot wider, and you need to keep that in mind because you don't really see it unless you look over. I went through a Starbucks drive-thru this morning and nearly pranged the window, missed it by about that much because you just don't really see it. At highway speeds, I thought there'd be a lot of tire noise, but no, it's surprisingly quiet. So what there is wind noise, and lots of it. This thing is as aerodynamic as a house. The whoosh off the nose and windshield frame is prominent over 75 miles an hour, just like all Broncos. And no, the windshield frame does not fold. There is a lot of extra weight with the Raptor. Let's see how the brakes work. Wow, that actually stops shorter and with more control than I would have imagined. And the engine stop-start system is pretty good. Obviously, you can turn that off. Many of these will spend most of their lives on pavement, but since this isn't mine, I'm happy to head off to my favorite off-road area. What's that? Oh, that's new. And not exactly welcoming. Dang. I don't have a plan B. Some guys passing by say those signs mean business. Time to talk it over with Martin.
Your name's Campbell.
Yep.
You wouldn't happen to have any relationship to these people? Maybe them on speed dial?
Nope.
Dang.
Honestly, I'm ready to ignore the postings, but clearly they intend to keep even Bronco Raptors out, digging deep trenches and blocking access to where I've gone before. Youch indeed. Okay, I guess I won't be doing severe off-roading, more rally-style driving. Let's go. The service road is fair game. Lots of deep ruts to evaluate the suspension. All right, this isn't King of the Hammer driving, but I'm doing about 45, 50 miles an hour here, and the suspension soaks up these ruts like nothing. This road is a lot rougher than you might think. Cameras never capture it. It's amazing how controlled this vehicle is. All the feedback coming up through the wheel tells me I could ratchet up the speed, but it's hard to know if there's a Ram TRX or a pack of mountain bikers around the corner, and brakes are only so good on gravel. This is excellent under these conditions. A lot more controlled than a Wrangler, and yeah, wish I was doing some severe off-roading, but gotta say this is fun. About the adaptive suspension, sensors at each corner independently read what's happening hundreds of times a second and adjust the tuning. Modern electronics. Gotta love them.
All right. And yeah, that's how rough this is. My light just fell.
Honestly, this is severely pockmarked. It's even affecting the sound of my mics.
Here's my question. This vehicle is around $75,000 as tested. Who's gonna really beat up their Bronco Raptor like this, huh? I just don't have the money. Maybe there's guys out there that can do that, but not me.
I find one berm to crawl over.
Okay, there's a little whoop-de-doo here. Emphasis on the big whoop. This thing isn't even breathing hard.
Approach, breakover, and departure angles all beat a Wrangler even with the Extreme Recon package. The fully boxed frame is girder solid. Short of doing something stupid, nothing faces the Raptor. Owners that drive this to the limit have my respect. Like all Broncos, the interior is businesslike. No confusing this cockpit with a Lincoln. The door pulls are hard plastic and armrests are narrow. The only real options on this particular vehicle are a $1,700 carbon fiber package and leather and suede trimmed seats at $2,500. Normally they're covered in marine grade vinyl. These are much grippier when you need to stay put. In base trim, the floor is rubber with drain plugs, good for hosing out. There are a couple code orange accents and light-colored plastic panels, but this is a dark, inky space that soaks up light like the suspension absorbs impact. Window and mirror controls are here. The door releases feel as beefy as the suspension arms. I can assure you that water bottles stashed here don't stay put on rough, gravelly roads. The center console is average in size. The glove box is ample. It holds the included toolkit. And there's a tray of sorts with a mounting socket for a GoPro. Love the heft of these. I'll assume that airbag placement keeps them off the A-pillars where they'd be more useful. Bronco Raptor runs the Sync 4 system. That's good. It's the best Ford offers. Hours could be spent tuning the car to your liking. It's pretty deep and well organized. Touch response is average. Nice to have hard buttons with direct instant operation, especially when bombing through canyons and access roads. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are standard and wireless, though adding a Qi charger means opting for the $2,700 Lux package that also adds a heated wheel and adaptive cruise. These switches are pre-wired for less rooting around when mounting accessory lighting. The standard supplemental LEDs are quite good. These are covered for a reason. All of society pleads with you not to use them on road, okay? There's zone lighting. That's good for camping trips.
Your seat is adjusted for a comfortable driving position?
Yeah, and in case you don't know, we're both 5'9".
Just making sure, I want to get this right. It's not bad back here. Headroom is fairly generous. Knee, leg, and foot room, pretty good. Cushions are high enough so that thigh support is excellent. The only thing is, door opening's a little small if you're getting car seats in and out on a regular basis. Door pocket's a little small, no big whoop. This is the hold if you're taking off the door. That's nice and handy. Love these. You can strap gear here or hang carabiners, plus little bag hooks. Love that there are pockets on both seat backs, small but usable. The window controls are here, USB ports to charge your phone, and a 110 outlet to charge computers. No adjustable vents though. The center spine isn't too intrusive, so footroom for 3 adults will be okay. And a reminder that the track of the Bronco is almost 10 inches wider than a regular Bronco. Inside, it's exactly the same. So, 3 adults for short trips, 2 adults for long ones.
What can I say about design? Raptor is a chunk, and Spotter's Guide, the amber lighting is a big tell that this is the Broncoiest of all Broncos. For those with a need for something more macho, maybe consider therapy instead. All eyes stop here first. They're removable and all about function. On a black truck, they blend in and don't look as excessive, though I think Raptors look best in bright colors like cyber orange or eruption green. The look is honest. This is not painted plastic. The venting is definitely functional. In addition to the multiple Easter eggs all over the truck, I have to believe there's one in the tread design the shape of the state of Michigan. It draws eyeballs and fierce defenders. One guy in a group gushed, "Nice Jeep, man," and I'm pretty sure his friends have disowned him for life. Keep in mind that this is some 17 grand more than a 4-door Wildtrak, which is also available as a 2-door if that's your thing. I think all SUVs should have tie-downs like this. They work great as sight guides, too.
I prefer liftgates because when they're open, they offer shelter from rain and snow. We get a lot of that in the Pacific Northwest. Doors don't do that. And this one is particularly heavy because of the spare. Also, because of the way the door opens and you're trying to load to the curb, well, it's kind of awkward. Now, I get why the tire needs to be on the back, because if you were stuck on the trail and needed to get to it and it was mounted under here, that would be pretty tough. Fun fact, this spare is so heavy, it's full size, Ford had to reinforce the door.
This looks backwards here, but in the rearview mirror, it reads right. Gear can be clipped here. There's also a clever fold-down table option that's around $200. This little cubby is good for storing a toolkit or a recovery strap. One up here too, plus power. A 110 volt would be nice to have. To drop the back seats, you will be going around to the back door since the space is deep and up high. If there's just a couple heading off into the wilderness, a lot of kit can be stuffed in here. It's an impressive 73 cubic feet. If 2 friends are tagging along, that drops it to 37, still pretty darn good. Functionally, the extra bracing doesn't seem to really cut into utility when it comes to cargo capacity. That's 9 packs, not bad at all. A reminder that you will be closing the back end up in the proper sequence on Bronco, and that the back window can't be opened when the door is shut. Let's sum the Bronco Raptor up. It's time for red light, green light. Green light. Hard to imagine a stock vehicle any more impressive off-road than this. You have to experience it to understand. Considering this is aimed at intense Ultra 4 kinds of runs, the on-road dynamics are very livable. The ability to adjust nearly every aspect of this vehicle with GOAT modes, adjustable shocks, exhaust notes, and such is pretty cool. And it's a Bronco, which is currently the it vehicle, if only for its design that incorporates heritage perfectly. Yellow lights? This might be the most powerful Bronco, but it will lose in a drag race with Wrangler 392. The 13.1 inches of ground clearance works great on the trails. Hiking yourself up and in every day might get old. The extra width helps with stability and handling. Just be aware that those fenders stick way out. Red light, fuel economy, or lack of it. The cave-like cabin brings up the rear when compared to Wrangler and Defender ambiance. Everyday loading into the back is a hassle, especially with the huge 37-inch tire, though you could ditch the gym membership and do a dozen reps with the door every day. Let's not forget availability, or lack of. There's been a Bronco shortage since the day Ford announced it was bringing it back. And F-150 Raptor models have always commanded a premium price at dealerships. It's doubtful that will be any better with the Bronco version. For the foreseeable future, all indications are this will be a tough vehicle to lasso.
Surprisingly docile on-road performance, nearly invincible off-road. The Bronco Raptor is a very, very impressive machine. Extreme? Excessive? Oh yeah, and the fuel economy is terrible, but Americans love trucks like this. It's a love affair.
We love to overbuy here in the home of the brave, and the Bronco Raptor is an overachiever, happy to oblige in the excess is success department. If you can find one to buy, it's an unstoppable force of marketing, design, and performance. This has been a fairly comprehensive video. Notice anything about the Bronco Raptor? Like, there are no blue ovals on it? Anywhere. As always, special thanks to Martin Campbell for driving duties since I shoot all my own video whenever possible. It's on me for not having a backup plan for rock crawling. I had to get Martin back on time or we'd both incur the wrath of his terrific wife. Spouses, they're always lovely, until they're not. To make that up to you, here's some footage from Ford showing what the Raptor will do in more rugged conditions. And while you're watching it, I'll remind you that I have a buying service that gives you quotes and instant invoice pricing. Look, it's doubtful you'll get a deal on a Raptor or even a regular Bronco. Those are very hard to get, but it's worth a try, or if you're looking for something else, give it a go. I keep saying use mine because it benefits my channel, or use somebody else's, and I really do mean that. It's most important to me for you to get the best deal possible. None of the services are perfect, and it depends on what region of the country you live in. Oh, and feel free to use YouTube's Super Thanks feature and tip your favorite automotive reviewer, especially if that's me. Filling up the Bronco Raptor was a sobering experience, even with regular grade gas. It was well over $100. At least I didn't lose a GoPro. I took some chances with my oldest one. I think this turned out great.
This is the end. It's fun fact time. What is the origin of the Raptor name? And is it the bird or is it the dinosaur? Well, you got to remember, birds evolved from dinosaurs, so really you can have it either way. And if I've got the story straight, back in the day when Ford engineers were developing the original F-150 Raptor in the Anabarega Desert, they kept looking up and seeing all of these condor, and they thought, wow, condor, that's a great name. They're a pretty cool Raptor. Oh, Raptor, that's an even better name. Turns out that Mosler, a small independent sports car company, already owned that trademark. So Ford probably gave them a little bit of money, because that solves all problems, right? And you also might have heard that this was going to be the Bronco Warthog. That was just a rumor, and I don't think it was true. Really, Ford would be foolish to not call this a Raptor, because when you think of off-road performance, you think Raptor, right? Yeah. Well, thanks for watching. Remember, subscribe to this channel, click notifications. Follow me on Twitter. I'm very active there. You can ask me questions or just leave that question in the comments, okay? All right. That's Driven. I'm Tom Voelk.